Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Fiji's participation in the seasonal work programs had seen a steady growth in numbers since 2015, with a similar trend being witnessed in the Pacific Labor Scheme since Fiji joined in 2019. However, Mr. Speaker, COVID-19 pandemic has somewhat restricted the movement of people around the world due to the closure of borders, and Fiji is no different. Mr. Speaker said, during this challenging time, we were able to send the total of 695 Fijian workers to Australia and 70 Fijian workers to New Zealand. Mr. Speaker said, my ministry continues to consult closely with our counterparts, both in Australia and New Zealand, and in particular with the approved employers to monitor the welfare of our Fijian workers during this pandemic. Mr. Speaker said, we are also in close consultation with the worker welfare teams under the Pacific Labour Facility to address issues and assist our workers during these difficult times. Mr. Speaker said, we also have an Australian Labour Mobility Engagement Manager, Ms. Sasha, that is based here in my ministry to assist my team on these programs. Her 3-year attachment since 2019 to the ministry is fully funded by the PLF, and we are very thankful to them. Mr. Speaker said the aim of having regular engagements directly with employers under the Labour Mobility Program is to ensure that welfare issues are identified and managed. This includes coordination with the Pacific Labour Facility worker welfare team and also directly with our Fijian team leaders, the group leaders. Mr. Speaker said the welfare of our Fijian workers are paramount under these programs. My ministry recognizes the value and importance of having a strong working relationship with the employers, the managing authorities for each scheme, and the workers to ensure all parties fulfill their obligation and support the mutually beneficial outcome of these two programs, Mr. Speaker said. Mr. Speaker said the total number of Fijians that are currently under the 3 labour programs are as follows. Australia Pacific Labour Scheme, we have got 793 Fijians. Australia Seasonal Work Program, we have got 187 Fijian workers. And Mr. Speaker said for the New Zealand Seasonal Workers Program, we have 291. Mr. Speaker said the part of our regular engagement with approved employers under this scheme, my team was informed this week of the statewide lockdown in New South Wales due to the increase in the number of COVID-19 cases, which has resulted in the closure of that particular site. However, Mr. Speaker said the employer has also confirmed that these 128 PLS workers are entitled to apply for the New South Wales disaster relief payment of 750 Australian per person. Mr. Speaker said the vaccination drive to have all our potential workers to be fully vaccinated by November 2021 has given our biggest employer under the PLS the confidence not to cancel our October engagement of 175 workers, but has been deferred because of these COVID cases in New Zealand as well. Mr. Speaker said, most recently, the Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, DFAT, through my ministry, conducted a stakeholder consultation on how to improve, streamline, and align the two Australian labour mobility programs, namely the Seasonal Work Program and the Pacific Labour Scheme. Mr. Speaker said the stakeholders' response would be considered as part of the Australian government's planning for a larger, sustainable, and market-driven Fiji labour mobility in Australia in future. Mr. Speaker said with a total of 1,271 Fijian workers that are currently in Australia and New Zealand under these three labour mobility programs, I firmly believe that many of our fellow Fijian families are benefiting from the scheme during this pandemic. Mr. Speaker said, our regular engagements with approved employers will only strengthen our working relationship as we build good faith and trust when worker issues are discussed and resolved early. This will also give confidence to our Fijian workers to raise issues directly with employers as they arise. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I thank the Honourable Minister.